What is up with it? Today we are watching NCL Germany Week 1. Shout out to No Heroes for hosting this event. I believe this is round 1. They're going to show both deck lists. I don't actually know whose is which. We have 3 Gravity Blades, 3 Jozu, 11 2Ks, 4 Teach, 3 Pudding, only 2 Geckos. And this one is playing a Rush Usopp, which is crazy. A Red Rock, also crazy. Only 3 Sengoku, only 3 Perona. This deck list is hurting my heart. I'm gonna stop looking at it. This is Armon. And this is Paul. I don't know who Paul is, to be honest with you, but Armon, super strong player. I think one of the top 3 players according to Limitless. He's really high up there, at least. Gonna go ahead and start with Buggy on 1. I see we have a Teach. I'm not sure what that is. Another Buggy and a Law. So not a great start from Armon compared to Paul, who has good hand for sure. He's got Perona, which is great. Jinbei Boa, good cards. The Jozu very likely will end up being counter. But that's okay. You have to have some amount of counter in your hand. I can't quite see what his stack is, unfortunately. I think a lot of the times we're going to play something off of our stack here on 4, and then on 6 we'll go Jinbei Boa. I believe this is an invite-only tournament, but I have no idea how many players. It could be as low as 8, honestly. Okay, so Armon's just going to pick up his own 2 cards, trying to not go too card negative here, and is willing to have not like the most board presence, as well as, you know, bounce laws are always at a premium. So I wonder now if Paul is thinking about I could just swing 5, but nah, he's still. Did he just draw into Perona? Drawing into a Sengoku there would be really nice. The Perona feels slightly redundant just because I imagine a lot of the time we're going to go Jinbei Boa next turn anyways. So not sure I'm in love with this Perona, but what it does allow us to do is potentially draw a card we like, and if there's 3 cards in that stack that we're not in love with, we can stack it so we draw the card we like, and then Jinbei Boa put those next 3 cards that we don't like on the bottom, and then leader effect the last remaining card. So it can help us filter 3 not great cards out of our deck, which would be nice. Not sure if that's the way he stacked it, but maybe. I'm going to go ahead and start with Sengoku here. Honestly, I would have been really cool to just put in there. Like, my opponent played down the Perona. They only have 7 cards in hand, which, you know, isn't phenomenal, but it's not bad. And I would have Swan 5 with Law, Teach Effect, stack my other Law, and then... Or wait, or did he get the Law off of the... Maybe he got the Law off the Sengoku and I'm trolling. Let me just double check. I'm so sorry. Because maybe my play wasn't real. My play was not real. Okay, never mind. Never mind. The Sengoku makes a lot of sense. If he did have the Law in hand, though, I think Pudding here is pretty unconventional on 5. But going Pudding, ripping their hand, then stacking the Law, and then swinging 5, and then Law bouncing your Sengoku, I think could have been a real play. Because, oh, what? What? I have no idea what Armand is cooking. I'm really interested in seeing how this goes because I just have no idea what he's cooking, genuinely. And I don't want these Discord notifications going off. I'm so sorry. I have literally no idea what Armand is cooking right now, genuinely. Like, I almost think his plan is to re-pick up his own 2 cards. I don't see the vision, brother. I really don't see the vision. I really do not see the vision. Hey, I'm gonna let him cook. This is not at all how I would have ever played this. Um, yeah, I'm just, I don't know. I just gotta watch and see, right? That's all I can do. Um, how is it ever anything other than Jinbei Boa? Hmm. So we should be on 7 Dawn here. I wonder if NCL is sponsored by Red Bull because the positioning of this camera is really funny to me. Um, Paul has like some pretty insane board presence right now, but he is like super Omega starved. Um, so this is actually a really weird game state where I almost don't really love either player's position. I feel like I'd be really uncomfortable regardless of who I was. Um, like I think if you're Armon, you can kind of convince yourself that Paul is Omega starved and like you're eventually going to be able to win assuming he doesn't see more pluses. Um, and if you're Paul, you can convince yourself you're going to win just because you have way more tempo. But also, also really interesting that he is gonna elect to bounce the boa here. Um, I don't think I would have bounced the boa honestly. Um, I would have bounced the weevil because now Paul just gets like the weevil denies a draw, right? But the boa also in a way draws you a card, but the card it draws puts it on the field unless the boa misses, which is what looks like happened. I saw at least 2 of the cards that were a miss. Yeah, he missed. So never mind. Armand knows what's up. Um, I mean, I have to imagine we're still get a blind leader effect. There is a potential world we could just play the second boa, but that feels pretty bad to me, honestly. We can swing some 7s here for sure. Hmm. So he is just going to play the second boa. Didn't want to trust in the heart of the cards. He would have hit, for the record. He would have hit. I would have trusted in the heart of the cards, personally, for sure. But that's just me. I think the thing that so many people in the community discount is how much personal player expression there is with Doflamingo. Because it's not a traditional deck of I played these cards on these turns. There's plenty of people I've spoken to that are very high level, um, articulate, thoughtful players that really discount Doflamingo. Like Clyde, after he won that treasure cup, was like, Doflamingo's boring. All you do is Jinbei Weevil, Jimbo Weevil, Jinbei Boa. Like, it's boring. But like, if you just look at this mirror, like, Armand has already played this so differently than like basically any Dofi I've ever seen. Um, and maybe he's throwing like crazy. We're gonna have to see, because he doesn't feel like he's in that great of a position, admittedly. Um, it's not the worst, but it also doesn't feel spectacular, I don't think. And like, I don't know how much I love bouncing these boas either. It's fine. It's fine to bounce the boas. He's gonna go 6 at the law. And I mean, as Paul, we kind of know another 6 is coming after this. I think we can pretty reasonably let this die. I don't think there's any reason to block 1k. Don't think there's any reason at all. Not that I can think of, at least. Six at Weevil, yeah. If only this perfume was a 2k, we'd be in obviously better straits. Okay, drawing a 2k for turn. That's not bad. We can also still double boa here. Which I believe is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and swing 7 at law. I don't think I love that. I feel like it's pretty easy for Armand to rebuild board. Oh, but it's definitely a lot harder if you bounce the teach. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm pretty down actually. If you're gonna bounce the teach, I'm actually pretty down. I think we should have. Nah. Yeah, you swing at the law first. Hmm. I don't really think there's a huge reason to protect this. Um, I mean, I guess there is. I guess there is. But, like, I feel like a lot of the time here, Paul just is supposed to let this Weevil die, and then he takes one hit to the face. And then now Paul starts his turn with 5 cards in hand, which isn't, like, the worst situation for him. Unfortunate we don't have a Sengoku in hand. Perona seems bad here, to me personally, but fair enough, I suppose. Like, I don't think Perona is something I would have played personally, but it's actually insane how many different possible looking Doflamingo mirrors there are. Um, and there's people in the community who actually think that this is Resident Sleeper. But it's like, I find it so fascinating. Like, this is such a unique game state, in my opinion. So you guys probably play 4 and bounce the other Boa, bounce our Sengoku. He's gonna swing 7 there first. Yeah, that makes sense. You swing 7 first. Oh no, and he's just gonna bounce his own law again. Interesting. I guess I see the merit in the Perona. Like finding this if you find Jinbei or Law, it's probably really good. Hmm. Decides that that's keepable. Huh. Weird to start with 7 here. Oh, it's because he's gonna bounce. Okay, this is really nice. This is finding that Jinbei there is really nice. Because now we get to have all of our characters active. We found another bounce law. Yeah, yeah. Now our opponent has to swing into our life, give us a card. Um, and at minimum, we're gonna untap with 2 characters. I think this was played very nicely by Paul. This was played very, very nicely by Paul this turn. I gotta say the Omega Starve. I'm not a huge fan of most of the time in the mirror. I think it definitely can work. Um, and maybe Armand's gonna win this game. I mean, it definitely helps that he picked up this gravity blade. Picking up this gravity blade definitely is gonna help a super ton. It's actually gonna help so much. Because if he wants to, he can pretty freely bounce this Jinbei as well. Like, your opponent is on so few resources that the Jinbei probably isn't gonna do a whole lot. The Gravity Blade actually completely swung this game, I think. Both these players are like so unbelievably low on resources. A true war of attrition. Kind of surprised he was considering the boa. What is going on here? We have a 12-year-old on stream? All right. Yeah, as I said, bounce the Jinbei. You're not too worried about it. Ooh, that Gecko pickup is pretty nice, I think. That Gecko pickup is pretty nice, I think. We're going to go ahead and swing 5 at Jinbei. Yeah, we're saying like, hey, man. Let's play the Omega Starve game. I'm down. I unironically almost want to grab Weevil. I think there's... Oh, wow. He thinks so, too. He thinks so, too. Yeah, because it's like, look, if we're going to play the value game, like, I'll just get value, right? Honestly, though, it really could have been Boa. I don't know. It could have been Boa because, like, the thing is, if you... It doesn't really matter if you have one or... I guess it really depends. It really depends on if you believe your opponent was going to counter out of that swing or not. Because I don't think you're too worried about going down to 2. Ooh, okay. The Boa Weevil's really good. The Law, gonna go ahead and send back the Weevil, the Sengoku and the Weevil. Okay. And now he's a little bit more comfortable bouncing the Sengoku because he has this Jinbei to accompany it. Very nice. Very nice. So we have Law, we have Weevil. I can't quite see what else is in the hand. You can gaslight me into saying whoever's turn it is. Whoever just finished their turn literally just ended, you can gaslight me into saying they're ahead. If you really wanted to. I generally don't love when feel like we're forced to... And he gave up the Sengoku there. Gave up the Sengoku. I kind of feel like if we were planning on using whatever we grabbed as counter, we should have probably grabbed the Perona. I guess grabbing the Sengoku makes sense. Since we lost our Teach earlier in the game, I was going to say we can Jozu... This is blind, right? Oh, we're not even doing it. I think Jinbei's pretty reasonable, yeah. Huh. What an absolutely odd game. I think we're gonna Boa before we Weevil, okay. Fair enough. If we find like Jinbei, then the Weevil will get played and we just get to attach more Dawn to swing. So Paul currently has 10 cards to his name, and currently Armon only has 8. So Paul's showing a small card advantage right now. That said, I'm guessing by the end of Armon's turn that will no longer be the case. I can almost guarantee it, actually. Gonna go 5. I imagine we counter. Yep. Giving a 2K. Okay. And then this one will let go. And then I imagine Armand will go ahead and play the Weevil and draw a card. Drawing another 2K. This Boa was a pretty nice pickup, honestly. Yeah, Jinbei Boa. If we find another Jinbei, I feel like we're in really good shape. Oh, we did not find anything. All right, incredible. Damn, that was a gecko, bro. If he had just blind leader affected, it would have been so nuts. Paul seems to not hold almost any stock in blind leader affecting. Not sure why we have transitioned to the 12-year-olds. Wow, this is crazy work. I don't even know what happened. I literally don't even know what happened. Somehow we put two things sideways, and our opponent had 2 cards. Or maybe he countered out of the first 6 is what happened. And then he blocked the next one? I don't really understand why we blocked. So Paul is currently up 1 card, but that should change by the end of this turn, 100%. I think Armand is actually kind of in the driver's seat here. He has this Jozu. The Jozu can bounce his Piranha. Dude, I'm not really convinced we can protect this law. I am not really convinced that we are supposed to be trying to protect this law. But he disagrees. He disagrees, and he's using his 2K to do it as well. I'm not sure about these counters. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think we can just swing 5, play the law, bounce the Piranha. No, keeping the law in his hand. Is the other card Teach? I'm really surprised that we kept the law in hand. Like, I feel like if we kept the law on board, this is a pretty easy 1K with the Teach. And then next turn we Piranha, and we swing big a bunch of times. Unless he, like, bounces our Jozu, and then we replay the Jozu. I don't know. This seems weird to me. This seems super weird to me. But I know that Armand's really good, so he's thinking about something that I'm not, I think. We don't have a 1-drop, so we're not that interested in playing our own Jozu. Um, I mean, surely we have a Jinbei in our trash, so I'm a little surprised we didn't go Gecko grab Jinbei. Jinbei play Boa. I'm kind of wondering what we are preserving the Gecko for. Oh, well, he's just gonna find the Jinbei anyways, so he's just the best. Law bounce itself, bounce the opponent's Weevil. So Paul is back to +2 on Armon right now. Paul has been kind of sneakily finding these Jinbeis on the top of his deck when he most needs to. This feels like a crazy awkward turn for Armon. Oh wow. Swing 5. And then teach. And then stack law. No, stack Weevil. Okay, he doesn't care about bouncing the Gecko because he doesn't really want his opponent to be able to replay the Gecko and just grab back Jinbei, which seems fair enough to me. I feel like last turn I would have bounced the Jinbei with my Law. I just don't think hard casting the Law feels great. Like you don't even have any 1-drops or anything. Like using it for 4 Dawn seems like pretty bad. I feel like. I don't know. Paul has definitely had a few times where he's had a bottom deck as well, which is unfortunate. Gonna go 5 at life. Gonna take a card out of his hand. You like seeing the Gecko being used there as counter. These two players are definitely friendly. They for sure know each other. Alright, this time he's thinking about what to swing at. I don't even know what you swing at. Oh, and the miss. The miss. It's always the 50-50. Do you draw first or do you hit first? It's the true 50-50. Huh. I'm just not as in love with this whole hard casting the law thing as he is. Like our opponent has teach, we don't have teach. I don't think we're ever gonna win this whole bounce war situation. I don't know what's going on with that YouTube glitch. I think Armand is in such an insanely dominant position now. It took many turns. But Armand had a pretty weak start and has been able to slowly but surely find the way. I feel like Paul could have won this game if he played it a little differently. Gravity Blade trigger? Kind of feel like you have to do it. Low key. Low key. You just don't have the cards to hard cast it. Oh, the law? What? What? The law is like, what? How is it not the Weevil, brother? How is it not the Weevil? Bro, your opponent is so happy for you to bounce this Weevil to their hand. They don't care at all. I feel like Paul... I feel like he got... I feel like his technical play... The way he sequenced his cards, I think, have been pretty clean. But I don't know. I feel like he's missed the mark on some of the decision making on certain points. Mainly the falling in love with this bounce law situation, I feel like has been a little suspect. Like he's done some stuff that I really liked. That like that turn that he had all of his stuff standing, I felt like was so good. I'm glad he didn't play law here, at least, is what I'll say. Yeah, second gravity blade. He's cooked. It is so Jover. It is so Jover. I can't ever die. I'm swinging sevens of life. I don't give a We're supposed to teach effect first, for sure. For sure, we are supposed to teach effect before we swing. Surely this... Yeah, he realized it this time. I think he realized he messed up a little bit, but he didn't get punished, so it was fine. And just bounce the boa. What else is in our hand? Is there a gecko in our hand? If gecko's in our hand, I would have preferred to play the gecko instead of the law. But it's hard for me to tell. I know there's a Perona. I think there's another teach. I think I personally would have preferred the gecko over the law. But nah, the law's probably better. He only had one thing on board, like just put him down to 0 things. Paul has actually bottom decked so many times. I mean, for sure he's been bottom decking hits. Just because he thinks they're not good enough, which is like fair. You're supposed to do that a lot of the time. Paul loses. Yeah. All right, game one in the books. How long was game one? All right, kind of a spoiler because now we know that this wraps up in a 2-0. But that game just felt super long to me when you consider that we're watching this at 2 times speed. Which, by the way, thank God we're watching this at 2 speed. Holy shamoly. That was an hour-long game one. An hour. An hour, brother. An hour. We gotta stop looking at this dude. I don't know who he is. I'm sure he's a great dude. Maybe some people are watching this video like, we gotta get this dude off camera. But if anyone feels that way, please watch the original VOD of this instead. You do not need to watch me. Oh my goodness, I just realized I'm actually covering the hand. Oh my goodness. All right. My bad, y'all. Sengoku. Okay, so Perona. You like to see the Perona here. I love these Dofi sleeves, by the way. They're really cute. This dude is all in on Doflamingo. He's apparently unbothered by the genocide that he has committed. Interesting to me that Armon goes Jinbei Weevil here. I feel like a lot of the time it is more I know I personally typically just play the Weevil here instead of the Jinbei Weevil. So I'm a little surprised that that's the way he elected to do it. He can go Omega wide here, right? I think he has a Gecko and a Weevil in hand. So if he wants to, he can go Gecko, grab back Jinbei, and then Jinbei Weevil. Oh, never mind. That's a Perona, not a... Oh, unhappy with this stack. Not happy with this stack at all. There is a Law in there, which is not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination. Law here feels pretty good, actually, I would say. I'm not exactly sure why he's so upset about this stack. To be honest with you, he can swing 7 twice, play Law, bounce the opponent's Weevil, or the Teach, kind of depending on what you're looking for. I don't really get it. I don't get it. I simply put, do not get it. Okay. So able to swing 9 and take out the... We took out the Boa, and we bounced the Weevil, which I feel like is the opposite of what I would have done. I feel like when your opponent has Teach... Oh, wow. We're about to get blown out by Gravity Blade. Me personally, I'm hitting the Teach and the Jozu. But, I mean, there's certainly an argument to hit the Jozu and the Weevil. Yeah, but I think once you... Interesting. I think when you've bounced the Weevil to the opponent's hand, I think this feels a bit worse to bounce the Teach, personally. I think if we had bounced the Boa instead, then it makes more sense to let them keep the Teach. There's simply no way Armon is considering countering this, right? At 5 life? Wow. Saying, hey, I'm not going to get puddinged? That's really interesting to me. So he's at 6, so he would have been at 9. He would have been at 9. So kind of crazy that Armand has been allowed to plus so hard that he's at 5 life and would have, at 4 life had 9 cards in hand. I'm not sure I even completely understand how that happened. Gonna go 9. Ooh. Yeah, Armand is in really good position here. He is a little bit lower on hand size than I'd love. I mean, like, did he know he had this play in his back pocket when he countered? Because if he did, why did we counter? Like, if you're gonna play this many cards out of your hand, like he would have had 7 cards in his hand in this moment. Like, you really think your opponent feels that good about putting you? I don't think so. So I think maybe a misstep from Armand. I understand that he was concerned about going down to or going up to 9 cards in hand, but if you're gonna vomit 4 of them on the board, I feel like that's not so bad. I guess really you only vomit 3 of them on the board because the one of them that he played he got from trash. I'm gonna try and look back at that timestamp at the end of the game. 34. I almost I'm so sorry, chat. I gotta go back. I was so busy thinking about the other thing. So what does he do here? So first action, he laws. Or no, he went boa, law, and then swing 5. Okay, and then he's swinging 7. Does he have a second law in hand? It doesn't appear so. Oh, and his opponent countered there. Okay. Okay, gonna go ahead and establish the second Jozu. So kind of just saying, like, look, if you have the gravity blade, like, hey, bro, I'll give you infinite value. I'd see if I care. Paul is definitely down on life. What are we doing, man? I just don't get it, man. They seem to really like this whole swing 6, swing 8 into the 6K bodies, and I just don't like it. I just don't like it, man. Like, is your plan really to let the opponent be at 5 life forever? Also, I feel like a big part of the reason why he's even allowed to do this stupid ass play is because we countered out of that one hit. Like, if we're at 4 life and we have 2 extra cards in our hand, no way he can go for this stupid play. But I still don't even know if he really should have been able to go for it, right? Maybe Paul is cool with this game going forever because he has the 2 Jozus on board. So he's just not that worried about I mean, Armand can't fight board, surely, right? There's no world where Armand can ever play for board in this game. There's just... Oh my god, if he's swinging 8 first, that makes me feel like he's trying to play for board. Alright, I'm just wrong. I don't know anything, apparently. I don't know anything and I'm stupid. This is crazy. Gonna go 7 at Jinbei. I feel like a lot of the time we can expect him to boa here. And then leader effect. Leader affecting from the top. I guess I should have been a little bit more specific. But I guess it really also depends what's in the stack. Really? Are you gonna swing 9 at the Jozu? Oh wow, he's a sicko. I think he's determined that his opponent doesn't have 2Ks. I think that is the decision that he has made. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, he's swinging 8. Oh my goodness. He's really made the read on his opponent. Look, you don't have any 2Ks. Wow. Armand is a sicko. Armand is an absolute sicko. I was not making that play, but that was absolutely a nuts play. I mean, really high risk IMO. Like, your opponent has 1 2K in their hand, and that play feels really shit. But he just decided that Paul didn't have it. Like, the previous turn, did Paul somehow show some weakness that he didn't have 2Ks? I really wonder how Armand was so willing to take that risk. Yeah. I feel like Paul like really needs a bounce law in this situation. He has one in trash though. Like, why didn't we just pick it up with the gecko? And he has this stupid rush Usopp. Like, we could have bounced all these boas, man. Not all of them. We could have bounced 2 of them. And like, I don't know. I don't know, man. And like, we turned our teach sideways. So now like, we can't even law shenanigans going forward. I don't... Dude, these two just play just so differently than I would. They play so differently than I would. I genuinely feel like the Dofi mirror is like, everyone has played it like infinite at this point, but I still feel like no one is like, no one has ascended, you know? I feel like there's a level of ascension you could hit if you're really him. Maybe Jasper. Jasper was looking clean AF. Jasper was looking crazy clean. But we also didn't see too much of of him playing, so hard to say for sure. What are we looking to do here? Gonna go 9 into the Jozu? That makes a lot of sense. And then we're gonna go 5 into the Teach? Yeah. Then pass. So now we have 3 swings. Armand, this is like super starved. Super Omega starved. But the Super Omega starved super favors Armand here because he's at 5 life. Like, he should just have an extra 2 cards in his hand, honestly. I think that one counter, if Armand was going to lose this game, which I think we pretty much know he's not going to, but if he was going to lose this game, I really think that one decision to counter would have been the reason. Just going to leave 5 standing characters. Huh. Which I will say, this board is still pretty scary. Swing 5. Yeah, it makes sense to me. Does Rush Usopp have counter or no? I feel like if he does, you're supposed to, but maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Oh. Armand actually just finds the gravity blade every single time that he's in a position where he's facing a board that's fully active. He's actually so good at it. Like, he draws it exactly the turn that Paul is like, all right, I'm 5 wide, all active, have fun. Armand's like, gravity blade off the top. He's actually so good at it, dude. It's like he can. It's actually crazy. I mean, surely you can't give up on the board at this point. When we're this committed? In this economy? We're finally going to deal first damage this turn, I think. Dude, am I crazy to think maybe we were supposed to drop the Kaido? Am I, like, really that crazy for thinking that? Alright, well, we're supposed to drop the Kaido over this bullshit, that's for sure. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Really? I mean, I do think it was probably way too optimistic to drop the Kaido. But I actually don't know if it's that optimistic. Because if our opponent wants to not develop board and swing really big, and then we take, and then we get into a situation where we can counter out of a 15, I think we can win. I think we genuinely could win if we did that. Granted, he knows what was on top of his deck because of the Perona, and maybe there just wasn't a lot of counter. But the fact that he bottom decked it almost makes me feel like there was. Like, maybe there was a lot of 2Ks. And if our plan was to play... If we played this Perona and we decided we were going to drop the Kaido, I don't really know what sort of situation we could have been in that would have been better than this. Like, we should have... Surely the Usopp has counter. I'm like almost 100% sure. I'm like 99% sure. If we had just countered with the Usopp, we are still at 2 life, and I think then it's like crazy safe to drop the Kaido, especially if they're like, I don't know, man. I feel like Paul kind of sold both of these games. Um, yeah, and Armand sees blood in the water. He's trying to wrap this up real quick. Uh, Dude, and this Red Rock being in the deck list is so troll. There's no way you stack your deck to draw a Kaido and you get into that game state. Like, I feel like that game state was like, oh my god. Like, his opponent's won 5, he could have countered. You take the 7, you're at 2 life. You drop the Kaido. You poke 5 3 times. Armand is super starved. He takes 2 of them. Now you have 3 bodies, one of which is a Kaido that Armand cannot remove because no one is playing Red Rock. Rush Usopp for game? No. Okay. Oh my god. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Alright, Armand popping off. Yo, he's kinda ripped. No glaze? Holy shizay. One more time for the fans at home. Okay, I see you, Armand. What did I want to see again? I wanted to see... Oh, yeah, when he countered. If he had this play in hand already. So there's the Gecko. He has the Teach, I think, for sure. I actually can't tell. I'll be able to know when we see the draw for turn. Oh, never mind. The draw for turn was Gecko. So he didn't have this line before. I still don't think we're supposed to counter. To keep it a buck. To keep it a buck, I'm still not entirely convinced. I mean, IDK, man. I kind of don't think we were. Like, even if we didn't draw the Gecko, we could have just, like, played Law instead of the Gecko and, like, bounced, I guess, their Teach and our Perona. And, like, and then we, like, just play Teach and then Teach effect, stack the Weevil. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.